So, this is just a quick message on just how powerful the mind is. Sometimes the mind can play tricks on you. Sometimes you can believe that you have seen something in particular because your mind already told you that that was the truth. You had a preconceived notion about what the truth actually was. So, no matter what you've seen, sometimes your mind can trick you to make you believe that although what you actually seen did not align with what your mind told you, it will trick you and twist what you have seen to make it match up with what you have already preconceived that the truth was. Prime example, if you are proofreading, you know, a a text or whatever. If you're proofreading a text, if you're proofreading an email, things of that nature, then you can go back and look over things, but in the back of your mind you're already looking for one thing in particular. So you may be looking for um misspelled words, or you looking to make sure that you did not misspell a particular word. So although you quote unquote say that you're proofreading, or you're going back over it to make sure that there's no incorrect things in your text or email. When I say text, I mean in words. But actually you're looking for one thing in particular, so your eyes are not going to see the other little deficits that's in there. Meaning, like, if you are looking to make sure that you spelt, um, let's just say, conceive properly, in and you look to make sure that you spelled conceived properly, but in the meanwhile there's five other words that you misspelled, but you didn't catch that because although you did glance over it, or you did quote unquote proofread, but you did not really, your mind wouldn't allow you to see the other things, the other five other things, because you were only looking for one. You were only really looking for, you may have said that you was looking over the whole complete text, or the whole complete, you know, set of words, but your mind knew that you really was only looking for this one word. So that's the only word that you really look for. So you missed out on the other misspelled words. Or if you're reading a book, and your mind can move a lot quicker than your mouth can. So your mind can read, your mind is reading ahead of where your mouth is saying, or where you're able to process. So you may add words in there, or take some words away, or change some words, all because your mind is telling you that that's what should have been said there. So you seen, although the text on the book is proven like it's there, it's clearly there, it's clearly stated, there's no mistaking. But your mind is telling you that this should have been there, or the way that you process that sentence, this word would have fit better in there according to your mind. So I hope I'm making sense with what I'm saying, because it seems a little confusing or a little complex, but this is how the mind works. So this is how we have to be careful with these things, because oftentimes we may be looking or say that we're looking for something, but you're really not looking for that you say that you're looking for. You're really only looking to prove what you feel is right. You're looking to prove yourself right. You're not looking to prove yourself wrong. So that's when things get tricky. That's when our minds can deceive us. Because if you're only looking to prove yourself right, because you feel that you couldn't be wrong, or that you shouldn't be wrong, or that you are not wrong, then you may miss many other things because your mind is already telling you that you know that you are right. So, this is how your assumptions can make a donkey out of you. Your assumptions can lead you to look like Boo Boo the Fool because you are only willing to see what aligns with your truth. You're not willing to see what the actual truth is. And this is why it is so important to be honest with ourselves. Be open-minded. Understand that there are always two sides to a coin. Understand that there's always, you know, person's A's truth, person's B's truth, and the actual truth. Okay? Understand that there is other possibilities, even if your truth is not right. And also, sometimes it can be a and situation. Part of your truth may be right, but there also may be an and to it. So you may have spelt one word right, you know, but you may have also misspelled some other words. Or you may have seen this and you also seen that as well. So details matter. Details matter. So even if you're listening to a story about or from someone else, ask for more details. Don't just go off of one little speck of the whole scenario. One little speck only narrows in on that one little thing, but that's not the full broad spectrum story of a situation. So always know that there's more to a story than what is being revealed. If you were not actually there, then you may not know the full story. Understand also that oftentimes your mind is only looking to prove you to be correct. Your mind is not looking to prove you wrong. So understand that you could also be wrong. And another prime example, this is a personal situation for me, so I'm just going to show you how things how the mind will trick you. Although you may not have meant any ill intent, you may not have meant it in a malicious way, but the mind can still trick you. This was a incident in a group text that I have with my kids. So I sent out a message, and I think that my daughter responded. Well, they both responded. My daughter and my son both responded to the group text. Okay. So my daughter, she made the last two responses. So the next response, I assumed it was from her as well, because it was actually something that she would have said. So my son was being funny and with saying something to me that she would have usually said or whatever. And so, but I didn't realize that it wasn't from her, it was from him. So my response was a little was what I would have said to her. And so which that's not a big deal, because because he knew that I thought it was her and not him. So it wasn't a big deal, but let's just say that this was the average, person, that this was just somebody off the street, or or in a group of people where there was already some ill will going on, where there was already some bad blood going on, then that could have been taken the wrong way. But I assumed that, well, and this is two lessons that I learned from that. For one, this proves what I'm saying about the mind, how your mind can trick you to make you believe that what you see is something completely different from what it actually is, because you are looking at it with a preconceived notion. If you go back and look at it when your mind is clear and you're not looking at it from a lens that's already preset, then you will see the truth. You will see something completely different from what you initially thought that you saw. So that's two different lessons. The first lesson was that sometimes when you already have a preconceived notion set in your mind, then what you see will only align up with what you have told your mind. Lesson number two is that sometimes when you look at the bigger picture, then you will see something completely different. Sometimes when you go back and look at it with a clear set of eyes, you will see something completely different than what your preset mind, with what your preset vision initially saw. So these are things, and these are lessons just to take into our everyday lives, is that the bigger lesson is that we have to be able to admit when we are wrong. Being able to admit a wrong is being able to be honest with yourself. If you're not able to be honest with yourself, that means that you are out of touch with reality, and you are at risk of becoming delusional. And we have enough delusional people walking around this earth. We do not need to add to that population. So be in touch with yourself. Be in touch with reality. Be in touch with your truth. This means that you have to know yourself first. You have to be honest with yourself. Know your truth, understand your truth, and be able to admit your truth. But most of all, know that the mind can play tricks on you. The mind can deceive you. That's why you have to always be able to admit when you're wrong. You have to always be able to admit your truth to yourself. Your truth, being able to admit your truth to yourself, will keep you in a state of integrity. If you cannot admit your truth to yourself, then you cannot be an integral person. So these are just some things to look out for. These are some things to be mindful for. So until next time, stay vigilant and always be able to be honest with yourself first and be honest with others.